Today on Here for the Right Reasons, The Bachelorette is just 1 week away. We have everything you need to know about Rachel and Gabby's big premiere. Plus, Bachelor Nation's Cameo reveals he is still crushed by his Bachelor show edit.
If you're trying to win this woman's heart and she's going to be your potential future fiance and then wife, why would you want to be pitied?
And Blac Horstmann finally reveals he is dating Giannina from Love is Blind, and Evan Bass dropped to 6% body fat amid trauma of his divorce. We've got that plus so much more on today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly senior editor Sarah Heron. And Sarah, we are 1 week away and I cannot wait. Big premiere is right around the corner and we have everything you need to know about what is about to go down.
That's right. Not just fireworks from the 4th of July. We've got a lot of tears coming and we'll get to that. But first, let's see what you guys had to say about last week's show. This was Joanne, and she said, Kody should learn to be a chief stew and go on below deck. I could see that, LOL.
Can you see that, Sarah?
Sure. I assume Katie Thurston, and then maybe also because we were talking about the cruise ship of the Bachelorette. I think that what they should have done, is had past Bachelor or Bachelorettes work on this boat on the show.
Oh my God, that would have been a genius idea.
We can only hope that if they bring back the cruise ship, or maybe they did do that and we just don't even know it. Who knows? But
who knows? Well, Judy Chandler said that a lot of people had a lot to say about Michelle and Nate's breakup, and a lot of people were not too happy with us, Sarah, giving our opinions on what might have went wrong, but that's what we're here for. Judy said, I love both Michelle and Nate. They made a beautiful couple, but a couple needs more than beauty to work. I feel sad for them, and I can't stand people making assumptions about their breakup. They don't know what they're talking about. You're right, we don't, but we can assume.
Right. It's an assumption. We totally said it as a disclaimer. It's kind of what happens in Bachelor Nation. But we both wish Michelle and Nate nothing but the best, and we've made that very clear.
Very, very true. All right. Well, let's get into our news of the week. And like we said, we're just 1 week away from the premiere of The Bachelorette, and we wanted to run down everything you need to know. But first, take a look at the brand new promo to get you very excited.
I think we're ready.
Just can't believe that this is my life right now.
I think Gabby and I will get our happy ending. I just got some information. It's really unsettling.
He's unhinged.
Okay, why are you here?
Controversy is going to create war. I'm ready to fight.
What even happened?
I don't want to give my whole heart to someone just to have it broken.
I'm ready for it. It seems like we're going to get like a regular Bachelor format to kind of kick things off night one. The hose is ready, spraying down the driveway for the Bachelor Mansion. We're back and ready to go.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of footage from night one, which makes sense. And a lot of, I think it'll be good, especially in the beginning, to watch two women trying to navigate meeting these guys, because that's when the antics come out and you're trying to feel like who is genuinely like a normal person, who's trying to get on this reality show, who's playing us right away. So I think that'll be fun to see them kind of navigate that together. And then a lot of tears. Looked like both Gabby and Rachel, but especially Rachel, seemed to be crying quite a bit in this promo.
A lot of tears. I would imagine it's got to be a super stressful situation. It's exhausting. You're traveling all over the place. You're meeting all these different men. And then they don't really have that format to look at, except for, Caitlin Bristow's season, but that was kind of a different thing. Two Bachelorettes didn't go through the entire season. So this is a new territory for them. But hopefully, like we said, there have been numerous reports that they're not going to be pitted against each other. They're going through this as friends and kind of leaning on each other throughout this entire thing. But like you said before, we're going on a cruise ship. So that's going to be something different. So I wonder if this is the majority of the season will be on this ship. I don't know.
Right. I don't know either. I would imagine maybe some sort of halfway point, and then that could also be an opportunity. I'm totally guessing here, your last chance to maybe switch, and not presented that way, but after this, we get off this boat, we do hometowns, or we, then maybe the journeys separate a little bit.
Yeah, maybe.
Which makes sense, because then that would be a way to have them all together and kind of give that last shot of, hey, do I see it with Rachel if I'm not liking Gabby anymore? I would have to imagine that's the only reason they would want them all in one spot like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious and very excited. We did get to see the men a few weeks ago. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, obviously, from a photo who is going to be standout, but we always have those fun little tidbits of what they're going to be like. I think we have a Yahtzee champion this year. We've
got twins.
Yeah, so there's definitely going to be some interesting talking points, I would imagine.
I don't know if they just got a better photographer or background, but they they look really cute in the photos. And a lot of times the photos come out and it's like, oh boy, what's happening? And then you meet them and they're all like nice and cute guys, but the photos are good. So that makes me think this is going to be a good looking bunch.
Right. They don't look like 80s, 90s school photos anymore. So
they do not. I'm excited.
Really excited. And it seems like the girls are really excited about it too. They're like pressing hard on social media, sharing a lot of behind the scenes photos. They look like they're still friends. So that's good as well.
That definitely do. Well, someone who we recently talked about was Evan from Bachelor in Paradise, Evan and Carly, Evan Bass. And now we have more info on him. He's really opening up post-divorce it took 2 years, but to each his own, but now he's given us what we need. And he talked about how after his divorce, he hit the gym. And he told us, when I was going through hell, working on my body was the one thing of my life I could control. I've actually worked out for over a decade, but never saw the results I wanted. My trainer had been preaching to me for years about diet as a lifestyle instead of a New Year's resolution. He taught me that a lifestyle of balanced, healthy eating and physical activity was more beneficial than trying to diet for short-term results. He was also working with a life coach who has, quote, perhaps even more than therapy, changed my outlook from impending doom to a cautious optimism. Between those two and dealing with the trauma of my divorce with my therapist, I was able to get focused and decrease my body fat from 15% to 6% and gain about 20 pounds of muscle.
He looks great.
He does.
Yeah.
It's like a tale as old as time. They say, look good, feel good.
Right.
You know,
this is like revenge body, I guess.
Revenge body, lifestyle change, not a fad diet. Like, it's like they can tell you these things all you want, but you never believe it until you finally commit and do it. Yeah. But I think it's so interesting that this is the time Evan's speaking out. And I don't know. I would love to know so much more about their dynamic and what's happening between the two of them and what really went wrong. But either way, he's, impending doom to cautious optimism.
I know.
It's a memoir title.
Really? I mean, it seems like he was in a pretty dark place for a while. And, now he's healthy, focusing on his kids, focusing on his health and, kind of getting back in the swing of things, it seems like. So good for Evan. Like you said, love to know a little bit more about him and Carly, but I don't know. For now, we'll assume.
Yes, we will assume, and we will assume that he's working on his fitness.
Exactly. Well, a new couple, not so new of a couple. We knew that this was happening, but now they're finally out in the open. Blac Horstmann and Giannina Gibelli are finally speaking out about their relationship after several months of dating. He wrote recently on Instagram, happy, just so damn happy. She added that this was the worst kept secret. She also took to TikTok to show off their romance, saying, when you go on a reality TV show and meet the love of your life. They starred together on the new Paramount Plus show, All-Star Shore. That's where they met and seemingly fell in love. But yes, worst kept secret. We knew about this for a long time.
We definitely knew about this for a long time. They clearly were contractually not allowed to post about it because they wanted to get, closer to more hype for All-Star Shore, which I have not watched yet. But these two, we knew about it, and part of me is like not surprised at all because like they kind of have similar energy, but like really hard launch, like love of my life
in just 7 months.
Yeah, and like I don't know, both of them coming from reality TV backgrounds and shows that kind of make you move quickly. Not saying that 7 months is quick, especially in the sense of Bachelor or Love is Blind form, but 7 months is pretty quick to just be like public relationship, throwing it all to the world, love of my life. Like they seem very smitten, and I hope it's, the real deal, but you'd think people like that would be cautious.
Right. Or
cautiously optimistic in the words of Evan Bass. But
exactly.
What do we know?
It seems like they're very much in love, met on this competition show and, good for them. I don't know. Maybe we'll give another spinoff in the future, but probably. We'll see. Yeah,
that's probably what they're hoping for.
I'm sure. Well, let's get into our Bachelor talk. And I know that you recently spoke to Cameo, who was on Hannah Brown's season of The Bachelorette, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was on Hannah Brown's season of The Bachelorette, and we learned just last week that he had his right leg amputated, above the knee amputation, because he's been battling lymphedema since he was 11 years old, and he's had like 16 surgeries. This was the 17th, and he spoke to me right after he left the hospital. We were like 6 days post-op, and if you don't remember on the show, it was sort of presented as though he tried to open up to Hannah about his health battle over the years, and it was framed as wanting a, quote, pity rose, and like a last-ditch effort to stay on the show. It was like week 2 or 3, and here's what he had to say looking back now.
How do you even feel looking back on that experience? Because from what I can remember, I almost feel like, didn't they like kind of use this against you?
100%.
Right.
It was definitely used against me, and I was, I guess, in a sense, kind of villainized for it. I mean,
Right.
if you go back and watch the episodes, basically, I had the conversation with Hannah Brown about my lymphedema, and they didn't even air the word lymphedema, so the general public couldn't even hear the name of the disease that I have.
Right.
So that was frustrating. But then beyond that, when she was done having her conversation with me, she had another conversation with Mike Johnson, and he basically told her that I was making up this medical sob story so I could get a pity rose,
Right.
which still is just complete BS. Because first off, I wouldn't even want a pity rose, because if you're trying to win this woman's heart and she's going to be your potential future fiance and then wife, like, why would you want to be pitied, right? Like, so that was really the first time in my life that someone and a group of people had like really made me feel guilty and bad for having a disease, and it was really used against me, when in reality, like, I know in past seasons that when people kind of have, you know, whether it's a disease or disability or some sort of trauma, that's like their thing that makes them
Right.
unique, their thing that can be triggered, their thing that could be used against them. And I just never thought that my lymphedema would be something that was used against me and that whole environment, because I was very transparent and clear with Hannah. And the reason why I wanted to be is because if I was invited on a one-on-one date or a group date later on in the experience where they got really physical, like I guess the week after I got sent home, they were playing rugby. Like if I was invited to be on that group date, I wouldn't have been able to play with just the history of my knee health.
Right.
So to me, that would have felt more calculated and manipulative if I would have pulled her aside there in that moment, be like, oh, hey, by the way, I can't participate in today's activity because I have this disease. I wanted to tell her as soon as possible. And I, you know, finally did get an opportunity to tell her, and she received it well, but that was very short-lived, because right after I had the conversation with her, like I said, Mike Johnson and I think maybe some other guys in the mansion had told her that I was basically coming up with this big last-ditch effort to stay in the competition, and I was going to use my disease as a leverage for that, which is still just blows my mind.
Yeah, it is weird because you mentioned, I mean, that a trope of the show is someone, not that it's that's a bad word too, because people are just opening up about their lives, but it's kind of like a staple part of the show. And you might open up earlier in life because you're in an accelerated format of talking to
Right.
someone. So it doesn't really make sense, especially like looking back, what a missed opportunity for the show.
It was a missed opportunity for the show. And one thing that just like still to this day crushes me is that like, that was my like coming out of being a lymphedema patient, right? Like I had been hiding it for years. Like if you were to look on my social media prior to the Bachelorette and all the other reality TV stuff, I never talked about it. I never even had pictures of me wearing my garments because I was ashamed. I was in hiding. So to have a show that has that millions of people who watch it, I could have had a better representation for the lymphedema community by wearing my compression garments with pride, by talking about it and not having it removed from what actually aired.
Yeah.
So that was really disheartening for me. And even in the Bachelor in Paradise reunion, I had a t-shirt made that said, I have lymphedema, Google it. I told the producers, I said, look, that's what I'm going to wear. You guys aren't going to edit me out anymore. Like, this is it. Like, I've given way too much of myself. I've been way too kind and accommodating. This is my moment to bring representation to the 10 million Americans who don't know how to fight for themselves, who don't even know the name of the disease that they have. And when I did that, and they literally blurred out the lettering on the t-shirt like I was wearing some curse word, to me, that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
Wow.
And I haven't been a part of anything, I guess, Bachelor Nation ever since. Because then also, you know, COVID hit, and then I got my knee replaced. So I was dealing with some health stuff of my own. But yeah, that's kind of how my journey of lymphedema, you know, then spilled over into the Bachelor Nation franchise. But then as a result of other lymphedema patients knowing that I had it, that's when I got a chance to meet up with Kathy Bates and accept her invitation to become an ambassador with Learn. And then eventually 2 years later now become a full-time employee with that nonprofit.
Did anyone ever reach out to you and like apologize or acknowledge or sense your surgery last week? No? Wow.
No, not at all. And like, that was probably the other most disheartening part about the conversation I had with Hannah and what was actually aired with what I was speaking about to Hannah, as I talked about how in 2017, when I had a really bad bout of infection that I almost had my leg amputated, like that was almost a reality back in 2017. And I basically conveyed to her, I said, look, like, I know a lot of these guys here in the house are younger than me. They may be stronger than me. They may be more handsome than me. But I told her, I said, look, I have a different kind of strength. It's a strength that has persevered from all these surgeries, from fighting this disease daily. And that's the kind of husband, that's the kind of man I'll be, as someone who will fight for you daily. And to have something as serious as a near amputation literally edited and portrayed in like a slapstick comedy kind of way, I mean, that crushed me. And then the fact that now I actually had to go through and get the amputation, there still hasn't been any reach out from the franchise or any remorse from any of the guys on my season. Be like, oh, bro, I'm so sorry. Like, I had no idea that it was that serious.
Yeah.
It was the serious back then, just as it's as serious as it is right now.
It's kind of crazy that nobody reached out to him from the show. Hannah never reached out. The guys never reached out. There was never an apology. Like, and he said, like, this was a really big missed opportunity for the Bachelorette to kind of shine a light on a lot of people that are also suffering from this. But they like blurring out like the name of right. They like blurred out like, what he had on his shirt or something. Like, it was just kind of really sad.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good reminder going into another season of the show. It's like the edit, it can look like, because I'm sure at the time we were watching it, we were like, oh yeah, this guy's pulling this out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then I literally less than 3 years later, I'm on the phone with him right after he had his right leg amputated. Yeah. Like it's just, the edit can do a lot of things, and reality TV can be fun to watch that way, but proceed with caution. You never know what's going on. And it's also weird that they pick and choose. Like if this was set to pretty music and the guys weren't, maybe told about that's what he was doing, this could have been a story that everyone was rooting for him this whole time. Yeah. So it's the editing of it all. And it's just, he seems to be in good spirits, and I don't know. It's crazy.
It really is. It really is. Well, we wish him nothing but the best. Really do. He's got, been through a lot, and, and to be in such great spirits, good for him. That really is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to our social spotlight of the week. Who caught our attention? Mine went to JoJo and Jordan because they met their brand new little nephew, Jack. Jack Jordan, I believe his name is, named after Jordan Rogers. This is Jordan Rogers' brother, Luke, just had a baby. And it seems like JoJo is all about baby fever lately. She said, do you want to have a baby cousin? So I feel like maybe by the end of this year or beginning of next year, we could have another Rogers to the mix.
Yes, we could. We definitely could. And, I love the Rogers family feud, and obviously the Jordan middle name. And then there's the Aaron, nowhere to be found at the wedding. So when Jordan and JoJo have a kid, will their middle name be Luke?
Yeah.
What's going to happen there? And we both interviewed Jordan and JoJo a bunch of times. Their wedding was delayed a bunch of times, and they've kind of said in interviews that, they were going to wait a couple years after they got married to have kids, but those couple years were COVID and, the delay. So I wouldn't be surprised either if they were expanding their family soon.
No, definitely. Beautiful babies, I'm sure.
Definitely. Mine goes to, speaking of beautiful people, to Tayshia, who has been in France quite a bit lately, and she's been hanging out with this chef. And she hasn't said anything about it. It's all speculation. It's an assumption, if you will. Yes. But I think she's got an Emily in Paris situation going on, and I think she's dating this cute blonde chef.
I feel like she is, because she's been posting about him quite a bit. I'm looking at it right now. And
yes.
I mean, there's, it's nice to look at.
Talk about a beautiful couple.
Right. But yeah, I mean, who knows? Well, good for her. Hopefully she's moving on. Hopefully she's happy. And, we want some more details about this new chef.
I know. I mean, we're all in. She's before, it's like, oh, it's just her chef. It's like, I don't think Tayshia just has a chef.
No, I don't think so either. It's like how Tayshia got her groove back right now. I mean,
yes.
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, Sarah, who is on the podcast this week?
Okay, well, you can hear my full chat with Cam because he spoke a lot about his battle. And then later this week, once the embargo from the network is up, you will hear Jesse Palmer answer more questions for you about how the season is going to go, and Paradise, because I spoke to him while he was on set in Paradise, and he confirmed some of the rumors circulating about Paradise too. So later this week, check out Jesse Palmer talking about the premiere of The Bachelorette.
Cannot wait. So much great stuff going on. And of course, we're going to recap it every single step of the way. So like we said, one more week to The Bachelorette. We're going to break it all down each and every week. Well, Sarah, thank you so much. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Hey everyone, I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly magazine.